I've been thinking about coloring my hair like pink.
Oh,
I really want to have pink hair,
oh!
but I'm just not like self-confident enough
No, Monze,
to
you'd look
do
so
that.
good with pink hair.
I changed my
Animal Crossing character to have
my
pink
Animal Crossing
hair.
character with pink hair. She looks so cute, but I don't know.
It would look good at like any color. Like you could probably get it like magenta, like a dark fuchsia pink or something, but it'll fade out anyways, and then you'll have this like fun pastel pink.
Yeah, so
That's be so good. It's be so cute.
it will look like so good. Just
Oh
like
my
do
god.
it.
Just like
Why aren't you doing that? Uh,
just dye your hair pink. I dyed like the rest of my hair blue. It is
yeah.
so crunchy down here.
Is it? That's
Because I had to
weird.
bleach the rest of it, but then there
Oh,
was
okay.
like because it was already bleached down here, I needed to get it because I didn't want like a black line, and I still didn't get all of it. But there's like, I ended up at the very end, like John was helping me, we just like put bleach on the whole thing, and it just got so I'm like this poor baby's triple quadruple processed,
Oh my goodness.
so bad.
Yeah, I think you need to stop and like cut your hair and like let it.
I'm gonna cut it next year.
Ooh,
My goal,
next year,
yeah, I want it to be like
2021.
yeah, I
When
want it to be
things will
long.
suck less, hopefully, fingers crossed. Oh my
Oh God, I hope
goodness.
so.
God, I just need like a break.
Yeah,
Today,
don't.
my mom was like, "Did you hear that the desert has this windstorm that's been covering Mexico, and also there was an earthquake in Mexico, and your grandma and your aunt had to like stand in between the walls of like the kitchen and the dining room." And I was like, "Oh yeah," and it was 100.4 degrees in the North Pole. She was like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah, I know. Every second, there's just something horrible happening." And she was listening to the news. She was like, the voter thing. I was like, yeah, let me tell you all about the voter nonsense that's been happening. She's like, oh
Mm,
my God. I'm like, I know. And then there's like the whole fireworks thing that's been going
yeah,
on. Because it started here like 2 weeks ago.
yeah.
And I'm just like, this is. I know I'm always on my mom about like her weird conspiracies, but I'm like, this is a legit thing.
How is it over there? Because here I just hear like a couple fireworks in Long Island. I obviously we're in like Whitey Wick, Whitesville, but there are still like it's still segregated. There's still like black and brown communities here, but I only hear like a handful every now and then between like 2 hours. But I've heard in some places and like in Brooklyn or whatever, and other cities, it's like all night constant, like
Yeah.
loud. So what is it like for you in Chicago?
I live in Oak Park,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm right by the border, and right by the Austin neighborhood, which is on the west side of Chicago. It's a primarily black neighborhood,
Yeah.
and but so they're really loud.
Yeah.
And so for a while, I was like, "Is that are they?" Because it was started like around the protesting and the
Yeah.
looting and the rioting. So it's like, are they shooting like rubber bullets? Or are they shooting like spray like the spray gas, whatever
Yeah.
it is
Pepper
called,
spray.
put
Yeah.
the
The
pepper
tear
spray
gas. The
gas,
tear
the
gas.
tear
Yeah.
gas. There we go, canisters or something. But then I'm like, oh no, wait, is it fireworks? Because then like I have like the sunroof,
Mm-hmm.
and then like from my window I can see sort of like the thing, and it was
Mm-hmm.
like every night. It is basically every night,
Mm-hmm.
and it starts around like 8 o'clock. It's
Mm-hmm.
like 7:30. It's not even dark out, and I just hear them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah,
Is it like
so
all night long, or is it
it's
just
not
like
all night
pop
long.
up?
I think it stops maybe around like 10, 11.
Uh-huh.
Uh, but yeah, it's like Sunday night, 10 o'clock, and it just started. And I was like, I have to go to work. I'm like, I know everyone else like gets to stay home, but like I still have to go and I still have to wake up at 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
But yeah,
No, there's like I remember when I first was reading about it, it seemed to be like another way to protest with
yeah,
fireworks by like appropriating like July 4th and all that stuff. But then I started seeing stuff being like, no, we think this is like the police are giving free fireworks to people intentionally to shoot them off to like disrupt people sleeping to wear out the black and brown communities. So it's like a counter protest to the protest, like
yeah.
some like psyop, like psychological thing. So I don't know what to believe anymore. I don't know
I
what's
don't know what to believe, but I just know that it's unusual,
yeah,
highly irregular, because it usually doesn't start until maybe a week before 4th of July, which
yeah,
would be around now.
yeah.
But People are gonna listen to this episode is like, it's August and September, but at the time of recording. So yeah.
But yeah, my friends in LA have been hearing fireworks too. They'll be like, "Did you hear that boom?" Like, because two of them live like within a quarter mile of each other, less than that. So one will like go outside or like walk their dog or go get groceries, and they're like, "Did you hear that? Did you hear that boom?" They're like, "Yeah, I heard it." They're like, "Oh, what is it?" So it's like it's all over.
It's all over, yeah.
So
it really is.
And like I hear it here sometimes. It's not as loud here. I just hear it. Like
no, it legit sounds like it's happening like 2 houses away from me.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, what is going on? Because it's so loud, and then I can see like all the lights like from my windows, which is like I'm only like 4 or 5 blocks away from the city. Like, what is happening? So yeah. So that's fun. That's good times. Okay.
Weird.
Let's start this bad boy. Do you want me to do this?
Let's start it. Yes, because I forgot the title.
Hey guys, you're listening to We Don't Watch Movies with Monze
and Corinne.
Woo! Okay, so last episode I said we were going to do The Exorcist because I was going to watch it with some friends. We did not watch it, mainly because my one friend had sleep paralysis.
Oh,
no! he was like, there was like a figure at my bed, and it totally freaked him out. So he was like, I don't want to watch it anymore. So now every time we try to bring it up at work, we're all like looking in the other direction, like none of us want to watch it. So we're going to talk about a different movie. Corinne wanted to guess what the movie was because I sent her a list of options. So what movie do you think I chose?
I think it's between one of the two that we were like, oh, it could be this or that. I think it's The Wedding Singer.
Oh, wrong.
Ah!
Wrong. Today we should do that one because I do love that movie. But no, we're talking about Teen Witch today.
Oh! Wow, I did not expect that at all.
We did
that
an
wasn't
80s
even
movie.
On the list.
It was on the list.
Was it? I just glossed over it.
It was on the list.
Then, yeah.
You just didn't care. You were like, whatever.
It was the Dark Horse.
We did, yeah. Since we did Big last time, we did like an 80s movie. I was like, well, let me keep it in that 80s movie area. So Teen Witch is from 1989. I love this movie. This is not a good movie. For anyone who has seen Teen Witch, this is a bad movie. But I love this movie. This movie used to come on Disney Channel.
Is it a Disney movie?
All the time. No, it's not a Disney movie. But it used to come on Disney Channel. This is like 90s Disney Channel.
Oh, okay.
And I used to watch it all the time. It wasn't until I was older I was like, oh, they cut this scene. Much like when I watched Purple Rain, I was like, this is the TV edit. But yeah, so it's not a good movie, but it's a lot. It's very 80s and it's a lot of fun and it's really dumb and ridiculous, but it's a good time. And I'm going to make you watch some scenes from this movie because me explaining it isn't going to do it justice. Okay, so what do you think Teen Witch is about? Do you have any idea about this movie at all? Have you heard of it before?
I've heard of it. I have no idea what it's about. Let me guess. Let me put on my Corinne's gonna guess the entire synopsis hat.
I love this. I love this segment.
Oh, what do I think this movie is about? All right. So I think there's a teen who's probably a witch. Okay. Here's what I think this movie's about. I literally know nothing about this movie. Here's what I think. I think this is either a movie where some girl is about to turn 13 or 16, like she's about to come of age, and she grows up in like a family of witches, but she doesn't get her full witchy powers until she turns this age, and there's like some special ceremony that she has to do, and part of her is like, okay, fine, like whatever, but she's more interested in like going to prom or something with this boy. Like there's some boy, she has like this artsy craftsy best friend who's like kind of nerdy, and they're like outcasts, and there's this pretty popular girl who bullies her, and then there's like their dumb jock boyfriend, and then there's this boy that she actually likes who like is kind of slowly starting to get involved with her. Like she starts off like narrating, she's like, that's my family, and then we see her in the cafeteria holding her lunch tray, and she's like looking at the boy family. And the boy like turns over and she's like, I'm gonna make him mine, and then the voiceover stops. And then the movie starts, and she's gonna like. I think it's like mostly she's involved with this guy, but she's also trying to like balance that with her like witchy duties, and her family's like, "Oh my God, Rebecca or Nancy or whatever the fuck your name is, you need to do this." And she's like, but he asked me out on a date at like this time, but that's the same time that I have to go like make a potion or something. So it's like,
oh no, that's my scheduled potion time. Oh my God, Mom, I just want to hang out with Joseph. He's so hot.
literally. And then somehow at the end, like there's some climax, like either she has to like pick and choose or whatever, and there's some difficult thing, and she goes to her witchy thing, and whatever, she ends up a witch and with the boy. It's either that or like, because she has to, it's either she becomes a witch, right, or it's she already has magic powers and she's just like and she just like makes magic happen, and maybe she like accidentally releases some evil magic demon thing or whatever, so she's like struggling with like the boy is still here in both versions. This boy is like,
she's got to have a boy,
her entire point. But then like this like terrible magic thing is happening, so in the climax is her like fixing that, and then she gets the boy in the end or something like that. Like somehow she's able to reconcile both her like high school dumb shenanigans with like her witch family shenanigans, and they come together. Maybe the boy interest is like also, oh no, my camera. Okay, we're good now. We're good. So what was I saying? Somehow she finds a way to reconcile like her high school thing with the witchy thing, and maybe like the male love interest is also a witch. Yeah.
Okay,
That's what I think. Is my video frozen?
no.
Oh, it is for me. All right.
No. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to say your second idea is not right at all. Your first one has elements of things that are true.
Okay.
That are in this movie.
Okay.
But you're also not right on both accounts.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
So, Teen Witch.
Wait, I have to see the preview.
Oh,
yeah,
you're right. Sorry.
You're so excited
really
to show me this.
I'm so excited. All right. My bad.
I have to see the preview, and then I get to amend something, and then you tell me what actually happens.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Dick Sargent movie.
Dick Sargent is
he the director?
Bewitched. Have you ever seen Bewitched?
Oh.
He's the second guy. Because in the black and white, the guy who played her husband, Darian, was played by Dick York. And then when it went to color, they got a different guy that looked exactly like him named Dick Sargent to play Darian. A little fun Bewitched facts for you.
Okay. So I'm going to watch this movie clips classic trailer. All right. Okay. I've started. I clicked on it.
It's my jam.
Oh, that looked like the Valvoline logo for a second. What is happening?
The dancing in this trailer.
Louise. Oh, she becomes a witch. Oh.
Oh.
Who is this old lady?
You'll find out.
What? Oh my God! What is happening? They're lip syncing? What is this? A new U2 song? Jesus. Oh my God.
So what do you think?
I think everyone in that movie is over the age of 25.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, okay.
Okay, so she becomes a witch. That means her life is terrible. She suddenly gets magic powers and then tries to make her life better, but be careful what you wish for sort of story.
Okay.
That's what I think. That I've revised.
You've revised. Like you've thrown everything away. And you're coming back.
I'm keeping the boy and the artsy craftsy best friend. Like I got those. Okay.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, so the cinematic masterpiece, Teen Witch, opens with a weird, sexy music video. Like Louise Miller, who's the main character, is like dressed in this hot, sexy dress, and she's on like a roof, and she's got like a scarf, and I don't know what's happening. And then like Brad shows up, which is the guy, and you saw in the trailer, it's the love interest. He's like wearing like a sleeveless shirt, and he's like, and they're over there dancing, like doing like a weird closed cha-cha. Like, it's super weird. And you're just like, what is happening? And then she wakes up and it was a dream, and you're like, oh, whatever. And like she finds like her brother under her bed or whatever, her little brother under her bed, which is that creepy looking kid who was like, you're a dog, you're a dog. And he's like eating under her bed. Like, I don't know what's going on. And he's like making fun of her about like Brad. He's like, oh, Brad, you love Brad. Brad loved me or whatever. And she's like, you've been reading my diary. And he's like, and she like takes the diary back, but he's got like a page of it. And he starts reading it to her, and she like snatches it away from him or whatever. And then she like comes down for dinner, and her family is like, oh, Louise, you're so sweet. And she like is like a nerd, like a loser or whatever. And like she and her best friend comes and rides her bike, and they're like, let's go to school together. I'm also a nerd. Let's look at the really hot girl that's dating the really hot guy you like. And she walks out of her house.
Check.
Let's look at Brenda as she so sexily walks to her boyfriend's car. And anyway, like at school, they're like a total losers or whatever. And they're like, Louise, you're a shoo-in for president of the Latin club or whatever. Anyway, she goes to English class, and she's like late to class, and the teacher's like, Louise, you're late. Like, he's calling her out. He's being like a total dick about it. And he's like, everybody turn in her homework. And so she turns in her homework, except it's got that diary piece stuck to the back of it. Because, like I said, her brother was like eating like chocolate or whatever, and it got stuck. And then the teacher starts reading the diary entry out loud to everyone. And she like, God. Yes, I cannot watch the scenes with him because the teacher is the worst. And she, like, runs out of class because she's, like, super embarrassed. But, of course, Brad is in the class, and he's in the back of the class, like, what's going on? I'm stupid, but hot.
Himbo.
Yeah. Let's see. And so her friends are like, it wasn't that bad, Louise. And she was like, it was pretty bad. And she's like creepily watching Brad like after football practice.
Oh my God.
He's like, football practice just ended, and he's like, even though football practice still ended, I'm just gonna be over here, throw a football, take off my shirt, do some sit-ups and some push-ups. And Louise just creepily staring at him from like the shadows, like,
oh my God.
It's kind of creepy. I was actually like, this is weird. And she's she tries out for the school play, and she's like up for the part of the lead, and so is Brad, and she like does this fantastic audition, but she doesn't get chosen. So they're like, instead of being the lead actress, you're gonna be in the costume department. She's like, okay. But yeah, and she's like, my life is terrible and it sucks and I hate everything. And there's like this really random scene, which is when they're dancing in the girls' locker room, which is I Like Boy song, which I love that song. We're gonna watch that scene, maybe not now, but we were gonna watch it after this. And it's just super random because Kiki, who ended up getting the spot for the lead actress, comes in and she's like, with a boombox, she's like, hey guys, I've got a new cheer routine. And she presses play, and then it's like, I like boys. And then everyone in the locker room starts dancing. And Louise is just like, what the fuck is happening? And there's just like 2-3 minutes of this random dance and song. And then they're like doing like this synchronized dance. And then the gym teacher comes in and like stops the music and blows their whistle. And it's just like, get to class. And like, it's like, okay, I guess that happened. And then it's like Louise is like riding her bike back home from, I guess, school, even though it's like super dark outside. But I think it's supposed to be like fall. And she's like riding her bike, and Brad's like driving his car with his hot girlfriend, and the girlfriend's like trying to make out with him, and so he like runs Louise off the side of the road, and he's like, "Oh no, I'm so sorry. What did I do? I wasn't paying attention. I was thinking with my dick." And she was like, "It's fine, whatever." He's like, "I'll give you a ride back home. I'll put your bike in the car." And she's like, "No, it's fine. Just go away." And Brenda's like, "She said we can leave. Let's go, Bradley." And so Bradley's like, "You're right." So like ditch her there. And as like Louise is gonna like ride her bike home, she's got like her tire is like off the spoke or whatever. You ride bikes, I don't.
It's off the rim.
Yes. She's like, "Great." So she like tries to call home, but like the phone doesn't work. So she like wanders into this she finds like a house. And she's like, "What is this house? Let me go here." And that's where she meets that little old lady, the small lady.
With the squeaky voice.
Yes. She's in lots of like different movies. I don't know if you've seen her before in anything.
I don't think I've seen her, but I'm sure I've heard her or something.
Her name is like Zelda something.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, I'm a fortune teller. Let me do your fortune." And Louise is like, "I just want to use your phone." And she's like, "No, let me do your fortune." So she like is gonna do like a fortune or whatever. She like reads her palm. And she's making a bunch of stuff up. But then as she's like looking at her palm, she's like, "Wait a minute. You're one of us." And she's like, "Well, what?" She's like, "You're a witch." She's like, "You're crazy." She's like, "No, you're a witch." She's like, "You're going to be 16 soon, right?" And she's like, "Next week." She's like, "Well, next week you're going to start weird things are going to start happening to you, and you're going to come into your powers or whatever." And Louise is like, "All right, I'm going to go home, I guess." So anyway, it's Louise's 16th birthday, and it's just like her parents and her little brother, and it's just them, and it's super sad. And the best friend calls and she's like, "Oh my God, it's like Revenge of the Cheerleaders. Kiki's totally having a party on the day of your sweet 16th birthday party, and that's why no one's there. I'm gonna come over, bye." And Louise is like, "Of course." But then like, I know probably the next day or whatever, she's at school, and like I guess the theater teacher and her are like best friends for some strange reason. She's like, "Louise, there's so much of you and me, it hurts." But she finds like this random like necklace, and she's like, "Oh my God, look at this necklace." And Louise is like, "It's cool." And she's like, "Do you want it? I feel like you should have this," or whatever. So Louise has like this necklace, and it's like super old or whatever, and she's like, "So cool." And then the most popular girl, Brenda or whatever, is like, "Oh my God, hey Louise, there's this dance tomorrow, and my cousin's coming to town, and he needs a date. Do you want to be the date?" And she's like, "Okay." And she like is wearing like a super frumpy outfit or whatever. And she's like, "I look so dumb," and the mom's like, "You look so cute."
The mom is lying.
Yeah, basically. Oh no, but they say, "Oh, you look so sweet." That's how you know that it's
that's
like,
how you know.
You're not cute or pretty. You're just sweet.
You're sweet.
Yes.
Or you look fine.
Fine. You look
that ...
great.
Nice.
You look fantastic. But yeah, so like she opens the door and it's that nerdy guy you saw in the trailer. He's like, "Hey, my name's David. Hey, you're a hot stuff. Let's go on this dance on this date." And Louise is like, "Oh, Jesus Christ." This creepy guy. So they go to this dance, and he's all like, "Hey, you want to smoke some weed?" She's like, "No!"
In the year of our Lord, 1989? That's not a nerd. That kid's the fucking coolest kid in his class.
"Hey, you want to smoke some weed?" And anyway, Louise is like, "I'll be right back." And she goes to like the bathroom, and that's where she like changes into like her hot stockings, and like she does her makeup or whatever. And she's like, "I look so cool. Now I look like all these 1980s pop stars." And she like shows up, and David's like, "Geez, are you trying to embarrass me in front of all these strangers?" She's like, "Shut up. We're stuck with each other for the night, so let's just deal." And she's like at the party, and she's sitting with her friend, the dance. and she's sitting with her friend, and she's like, I just wish Brad would like look at me or whatever. And Brad is like dancing with Brenda, and he like looks at her, and her friend's like, oh my god, he's looking at you. She's like, I wish he would just come over and talk to me. And like Brenda and Brad like ditches Brenda, and comes over and is like, hey, I need to tell you something. And she's like, okay. So then she's so he's like, hey, I need help with English class, can you help me? And she's like, sure, okay, I guess I can help you with that. And then as she's like driving home with David is like coming on to her and like being a total like horrible dick. You saw in the trailer. And she's like, just leave me alone. And he like disappears, and she's like, oh my god. And she like rides her bike to like that little old lady's house, well, the lady's house, and she's not home, and she's like, oh no, and she rides back, and she comes home, and her brother's like cooking a bunch of weird shit all over the place, and she's like, you're making a mess, like clean up. He's like, you're not the boss of me. And she's like, you're such a dork or whatever. He's like, I'm rubber and you're glue, whatever you say bounces off of you, bounces off of me, sticks to you. And she says it back to him. So when he calls her a dog, you're a dog, it bounces back off of her, and he becomes a little dog, and he's like running around the house going, look at me, what did you do to me, Louise? And she like grabs him and she throws him in the bathtub, and he turns back into like a little boy. And she's like, oh my god, what is happening? But she ends up getting into contact with the witch lady. Mm-hmm. And she's like, I've got some powers now. What's going on? And she's like, I know. Isn't it great? She's like, no. She's like, you can do whatever you want to do. And she like gives her like a spell book. And she's like, practice using your spells or whatever. And this is all the spells you'll ever need. And
why does she need the spell book if before she was able to do magic just by saying, I wish XYZ?
Because now it's like, sure, I can be a doctor, right? I can just stitch somebody up. But if I had a book with some studious things with actual facts, I could be an actual doctor. That was not a good. That wasn't a good look.
She could still just be like, I wish you would, like, you know, every time she says, I wish, it just happened. Why does she need this spell book?
Because, look, she's a witch. We just have spells. I don't know why we're fighting about this. This is the dumbest thing to fight over.
It's a plot hole. It doesn't make any sense.
Because now it's like, it's not just an instantaneous thing where it's like without intent. I think the spells have intent. The spells have intent because she like learns like a wind spell and like gets really windy. And if she like does a certain way, it gets, and she like does another spell to make it rain, and she also makes another spell to make it stop raining. So like she has like this, the spell books have like intent basically. Shut up. And then she like is at school, and she's like, I've got like this power. So she starts she does that spell you saw in like the girls' locker room and casts it on like those popular bitch girls. And they start like telling the truth about things and be like, oh my god, everyone knows that you're just trying to cover up your brown roots, you're not a natural blonde, your mom's a skank, whatever.
Oh my god, the tea!
Teens. And Louise is like, I have all this power. And then she like goes to the old lady. She's like, I really like Brad. How would I make Brad like me or whatever? And she's like, you can make him your love slave. Just do this, 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 and this or whatever. So when he's gonna come over to study, she puts like all this like powder on the bed, and she's like needs to say like a spell or whatever while he's sitting on her bed. But while she's there, the old lady is a witch, but she's like losing her powers. So she asks Louise to like cast a spell on like this frog, and when Louise leaves, the frog has disappeared after she casts a spell, and it's like this hot guy, and the little lady's like, speak to me, and the guy's like, ribbit, ribbit. She's like,
what is this movie?
I'm telling you, I love this movie. And so she's trying to cast a spell, and like her brother comes in and she's like, leave me, get out of here. And the dad comes in, she's like, leave me alone. I'm just like, Louise, I get it. Everyone comes into my room without knocking. It's the worst. So she's trying to cast this spell, but as she starts casting it, Brad's like, what are you doing? She's like, forget it. So she doesn't cast a spell on him. but she and Brad basically sort of become friends. And so they're in like English class and they're talking, and he's like, oh yeah, Brenda's kind of putting the pressure on me for prom or whatever. And she's like, why do you even go out with Brenda? And he's like, well, every guy wants to date the most popular girl in school. And then they're like talking, and like the teacher comes and he like scares Louise or whatever, and her purse falls out of her bag, and he starts like grabbing all the stuff that's like in her bag and like making fun of her. It's like, oh, it's a blow dryer. Are you expecting rain? And she just like finds her birth control. It's like, oh, I'm sure this is just like hope wishful thinking or whatever. Like he's being like a total dick to her. I know. He's the worst.
Oh my god, what an awful person.
Yeah, he's the worst. So then she goes home and she makes a little voodoo doll of him. And she like takes it to class the next day. And so he's like giving a lecture, and as she's giving the lecture, she's like pulling off like the little clothes on the guy, so he like starts taking off. You saw like his bow tie and his jacket and his coat, and he's about to take off like his underwear when like the principal comes in, and he's like, oh, what are you doing? So he gets the revenge, but she like comes home and she's like, oh, whatever, and she just puts like the doll on like the side table, but then like the dog grabs it. And so he like throws it and the dog like throws it down the stairs. So the teacher like ends up falling down the stairs. Nice. And the mom's like, oh no, this poor doll got ruined. And she's like walking him to the washing machine and throws him in the washing machine. And the teacher goes through the car wash. And he's like getting a wash. But yeah, so she gets like revenge on that super awful English teacher. What else? There's so much that happens. Oh, and then like her friend they're talking about like, oh my god, you're totally friends with Brad now. It's only a matter of time before you guys go out. And she's like, no, it's fine. And then she's like, I don't know what his name is, Fred or whatever. It's like so hot. And she's like, that weird guy that raps? She's like, yeah. So they like see him. And so then Louise does like a spell to make her go up to him. And so he's like rapping in the street with his friends. Top that. And so then the friend comes and she starts rapping back at him.
You mean that awful lip sync rap?
Yeah,
it's not them lip syncing to the boombox. That's supposed to be them rapping?
Yes, that's them rapping.
Oh my god.
And then at the end she's like, top that. And this like walks away and it's like, wow. And then Louise goes to her the old lady friend, and she's like, I want to look like her. And she points to like some famous like pop star. She's like, I want to be like the most popular girl in school. Like, well, let's find a spell. So like, this is a big spell. It's definitely going to use the last of my magic. I don't know if your magic can handle all of it. She's like, please. She's like, all right, fine, whatever. She's like, you're going to need to go to like this lady's concert and like get her jacket and then like play her record and spin a bunch of times and say your spell so you can become the most popular girl or whatever. So she and her friend go to like the concert, and she's like, oh, I'm on the list. She's like, you're not on the list. She's like, check again. He's like, I guess you're on the list.
And love when that happens.
Yeah, she love when that happens. And they're back there, and then like the pop star is like, oh my god, it's Louise. She's like, look here, Louise, take my jacket. I want you to have this. I've had this since my first album. It's my lucky jacket. Like, what?
Why?
She's like, okay. And then she like does her spell. I love this part too. So then like the next morning, she comes down. She's like super hot and sexy or whatever. She like opens the door and there's like a beat of music like boom, 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 boom. And she closes the door and the music stops. And then she opens the door and the music starts again. And they start playing The Most Popular Girl. I love that song. There's like random songs and dance sequences for no reason because they haven't established it as a musical. So then she's out there and she's like becoming the most popular girl in school, and everyone's like wants to be like her, and everyone wants to hang out with her. And there's in that song sequence, there's like this random thing where all these guys are in this car and they're rapping. It's the rapper guy, and they're all like rapping at her about how like they want to date her because she's so hot or whatever. And there's just like two random like Mexican guys, but like stereotypical 80s Mexican guys. They're just like, in the background. Like, you can't see me, podcasters, but listeners, but I'm like moving my arms. Like, it's so dumb. And they're like the only minorities besides, I think, the pizza guy, which you notice also in that same dance, like, song sequence. And then at the end of the song sequence, she's like, what am I going to do? I got to get home. And Brad's leaning against his car like, hey, I'm hot. You need a ride? And she's like, yeah, I guess I do want a ride. And then they go to like this weird abandoned cabin. And they're doing this weird, like, I think she takes off like her shoes and he takes off her shoes or whatever. And so they're like slowly taking off their clothes as they're meeting up in different points. And as a child watching this on Disney Channel, I never quite understood what was going on. Because after they kiss, they cut out. But then in the movie, they like kiss, but then you see them sort of horizontal and kissing. And I'm like, they had sex. Oh, she's only 16. Oh. So yeah, so they totally have sex in that weird empty cabin. Like, this is not sanitary at all.
There's nothing sexier than a weird, empty, abandoned cabin in the middle of the woods.
Tell me about it. Am I right?
Yeah.
Anyway.
I wish we weren't.
I wish we were not talking about this. And then like later, she's like a cheerleader now, and she's like friends with everyone. And the friend is like, why are you like this? Like, what is going on? We're not even friends anymore. She's like, you're totally my best friend. She's like, when was the last time we hung out? Oh, but the play came and she was like, Kiki, break a leg. You know, like, good luck. But Kiki ends up like tripping over a ladder and end up breaking her leg. And everyone's like, oh. And so the friend's like, are you going to break my leg like you broke Kiki's or whatever? She's like, I never broke her leg. What are you talking about? And then Brad's like, hey, there's this dance. You want to go with me to the dance?
How many dances are there? So
endless
many
number of dances. I have no idea how much time has gone by too either. Like, that's another thing.
Where are her parents?
At home. I guess they're fine with her being the most popular girl. And she's like, yeah, of course. And he's like, you just totally get me, Louise. He's like, you're not phony or fake like all those other people. And Louise is like, oh,
Sweats.
I don't think I can go to the dance with you. It's just like, bye. And then she goes to like the old lady. She's like, I don't want to be the most popular girl anymore. Like, how do I know Brad likes me for me, not because of the spell? And the lady's like, why do you even care? Like, you've got the hottest guy ever. Like, you live it up. And she's like, no. And she's like, fine, I guess. Live your true life. Be your true self or whatever. So Louise goes to this dance, and her hot date's the little old lady. And Brad's over there dancing with Brenda, like, boom, boom, boom. And as she comes in, everyone, like, looks at her, and they're like, what? It's Louise. And, like, she walks into this dance, and, like, some guys just randomly, like, pick her up and spin her around. And she and Brad are, like, making this eye contact. And then everyone does, like, a synchronized dance for some weird reason. Again, they don't explain why this is happening. And, like, Louise, like, grabs her necklace, and she, like, throws it, like, oh, I don't need to be a witch, or I don't need magical powers to, like, for us to be a thing, Brad. But this is, like, there's no speaking in the last sequence at all. And then, like, she and Brad, like, come together, and I think they, like, make out, and then they, like, do the synchronized dance with everyone else. And that's Teen Witch. They never resolve the issue with the friend, which has always bugged me. But yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, what do you think?
It sounds like a hot mess that I cannot wait to watch.
Yes, I know. Okay. So before you give your reactions, I want you to watch both The Most Popular Girl and I Like Boys.
She's so cute. Oh, she's so skinny. Oh, you know, they are not dancing like they like boys at all.
Could you imagine coming into a locker room and this happening?
Oh, they're on top of the lockers?
Yeah.
Oh my god, no, you will fall. None of this suggests in any way that they like boys. If you showed me this, I would have been like, what are all these lesbians doing?
What are the lesbians doing in Teen Witch?
Even she's just like watching.
I know. She has no idea what's going on though. She's like so confused.
It's shot like an erotic movie featuring lesbians. Like, none of this suggests anything heterosexual.
Oh, we should do the top that one.
The quality of this movie is so bad.
Yeah, it's not a good movie. Even like when it was made, you can like tell it's not like high quality.
Yeah.
But it's a romping good time.
I like that they're biking with their tennis rackets.
Yeah, they're very white. They just play tennis on their bikes. I like how her hair is so big, but she still has his hat that doesn't seem to fit.
You know that bitch is on with like bobby pins or something to keep it on her.
Like oh, here we go, the rap.
He looks like the guy from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Oh, he kind of does.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about? Who is this guy in the suspenders and the open button-up shirt with the red tank top? Style icon.
Style icon.
I want to walk around like that.
Corinne's gonna wear that outfit tomorrow. Watch out, world. And you're not.
Even this main guy, he's got like a crop tank top on and like an open Hawaiian shirt. Nothing about this movie is heterosexual whatsoever.
I know.
Oh my goodness. She's spitting bars. Don't look at his face.
The guy in the background.
Monze, this is our next karaoke song.
I love this song. I like how they pose in the end. Okay, and then we'll do the most popular girl, and then that's it.
Oh my god. What kind of fever dream student thesis film?
This movie is incredible, I'm telling you.
Oh, I really like her jacket.
Yeah, she looks really cute.
Yeah. Oh, I see what you mean.
You saw the thing.
Yeah. Oh, she's so cute. Look at her little bobby socks and her high heels.
I know.
Wow. No, but your friend with the ugly bucket hat. She needs someone to ride bikes with.
Nope. Rejected.
His car looks like a VCR rewinder.
It does. They're having so much fun being so popular.
He's the suspenders again.
I'm gonna be the most popular.
Oh, look at her. They're not even doing their makeup.
It's a montage sequence.
Oh, there's one brown person I saw.
You see
with
him?
a mustache.
The weird pizza guy? Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on. The next guys are coming up. Look at the car.
Oh my god, not the bandana.
You
No!
I'm telling you. They're just like this. Moving their arms for no reason.
Bandanas!
Straight cholos. I know.
Over the top button. It's like a shirt.
I love when she comes into class and they're just clapping for her for no reason. Let's applaud her for being so popular.
Louise, her name's just everywhere.
Yeah, her name is on the posters in the background. And this leads it up into the weird, like, cabin sex scene. So yeah.
Oh my god.
That's just a taste of what Teen Witch can give to you as a viewer. You're gonna put the links in the thing, right? Okay, good. I want everyone to at least see those scenes. If you don't watch the movie, at least watch those 3 scenes so you can just get an idea of how amazing Teen Witch is. I used to watch this movie all the time. I'm telling you, it used to be on Disney Channel all the time. I didn't rediscover it until I was like in high school, and I was like, wait, what? This movie is just as amazing as I remember. So yeah. All right, Corinne, thoughts?
I gotta say, I don't remember what movie held the distinction of this before, but I've never been so excited to just watch a movie as I have about this one. It looks so phenomenally bad in the best possible way.
It really is.
And the fashion is both horrendous and amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I cannot wait to watch it. I want to like drag my roommate onto the couch and be like, we're watching this awful, awful movie.
Right now. Yeah. Now. Every time I watch it, I usually find something new. Like, I'm never bored. There's always like something to look at, to find, to listen to. Just like, who wrote this movie because they're a genius? Who produced this movie? Who directed this movie? Who just made this movie? Because it's so good. It's so good. There's a scene where I don't know why the scene is in there, but the home ec teacher is suddenly teaching sex ed, and she's like, and this is called a condom, and everyone in class is like, condom. It's like, why is this in here? Louise isn't even in this class. It's a race against time. Steve the sperm is coming towards that egg. Like, yeah, this movie is so good.
I think it was 10 people were like, let's make a movie, and someone had an idea and just wrote the script, and then they just made it. It seems like a passion project movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of fun, and it's right at the tail end of like the 80s, so you've got like all these like 80 tropes and like things. It's going right into like the 90s and stuff, so it's like a super 80s movie. Like, you can just tell like it's super 80s. But like I said, it's a lot of fun. Like, don't go in there expecting like a really well done movie, but do go into it just expecting a nice good time.
Honestly, I feel like I'm gonna have a similar experience to when I watched Cats, except probably less horror and more like delighted glee.
Yes, delighted glee for sure. I told you a lot about the movie, but I think even just watching it, you're gonna be like, what?
Yeah.
What would you rate this movie?
5 out of 5.
Oh my god.
Like, I want to watch this movie like right now. Like, I wish I had already seen this movie.
I wish I would have already known what this movie was.
Yeah.
I think I used to talk about this movie too in like college.
I've heard of it, and I feel like I've seen like a clip or two on Tumblr. Not even a clip, like a gift set or something. But I had no idea that's what the movie was about.
Yeah.
So, wow. I can't wait. What's your rating of the movie? I know you've seen it.
It's 100 out of 100.
100 out of 100.
I love Teen Witch. It's just like a lot of fun. Like, there's just random dance and song sequences for no reason. Like, some things you're just like, why is this happening? Like, what? Like, what? Why is the brother so sloppy? He looks so creepy to me. Yeah. It's like, why? How does she suddenly become friends with this little old lady? Why? Like, what? Like, what's so hot about Brad? I don't get it. It's like, why are they singing I Like Boys in the girls' locker room? I don't understand what is happening there. Like, there's just so much I don't understand. Yeah. But it's just, and top that. Yeah. Top that. If you want to get with me, just give, like, it's so dumb. Like, everything about it is so bad, but it's a roaring good time. It's one of those movies that I rewatched older and like didn't hate, because like I rewatched Pebble and the Penguin because I used to watch it all the time, and I rewatched it and I was like, I couldn't get through it. It was so bad.
The movie's not very good.
It's not, but as a child, I would watch it legit every day. My cousin and I. So it's just like, wow, this is amazing.
Martin Short is in that movie.
Yeah, he's the
main penguin.
Yeah.
And then Tim Curry is the villain
the
penguin
bad
with
penguin,
teeth,
yeah.
who sings the Godfather song. Don't make me laugh.
Yeah. Yeah.
That movie is, but okay.
Yeah, movie's not good. Teen Witch, bad in a good way.
I think it's probably a bad movie, but it's iconic.
Yes. It really is one of those like cult classic films. So
it seems more I'm just like, move over The Room. I'm just gonna watch Teen Witch because The Room to me is just unbearable.
I haven't seen it, but I've heard, like, depending on who it is, but I'm not the kind of person that like, I like feel good movies, and that one is like, it's not even just, I think, the tone of it, right? Like, it's just a bad, like, if I'm gonna watch a bad movie, which I generally don't like to watch bad movies on purpose. Like, if I'm watching a movie and it's, like, technically bad, I'll still say it's good because I get something out of it. But I feel like The Room is just bad.
And it's funny because it's like so bad. Like there's nothing enjoyable about it for me. It's just like a bad, annoying, boring, long movie that I'm like, why am I watching this? But this movie seems bad in a fun way, much like Cats was bad in a fun way, because I'm going to come out of it with an emotional experience that is not just like, this is awful and terrible, why am I here? It's gonna be like, this is awful and terrible, why am I here? How did I get here? Wow, let's keep going.
Let's keep going. Let's not end the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I only like bad movies if they're like enjoyable.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I don't go out looking for like a bad movie. Like, can't wait to watch a screw up. Like, no, if it's a screw up, I want to know I'm gonna have a good time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Cool.
Cool. So that's the episode.
That's Teen Witch, everybody. Everybody, that's Teen Witch.
I don't know. It's my turn next for the next movie.
Yeah, it is your turn next.
I don't remember what I wanted to talk about.
I don't remember either.
I'll think of something.
Cool.
I'll think of that movie.
Nice.
Cool. So where can they find us, Monze?
They can find us, aka the podcast, at Don't Watch Movies on Twitter. You can also find me on Twitter at magicmonster, MONZTER. And you can find Corinne
at Corinne is Korean on Twitter. That's 1 R and 2 N's.
Woo!
Cool. Thanks for tuning in. Let us know if you've seen Teen Watch. Let us know what your favorite enjoyable Teen Witch. I was like, I had to stop myself because I thought if I keep saying this, I'm just going to keep saying Teen Watch over and over and over and over and over again. And I'm going to start saying Witchman instead of Watchman.
Jesus Christ.
Let us know if you've seen Teen Witch, what your favorite scene is, and what your favorite bad enjoyable movie is. That's not The Room in the comments below. Or that like gross, it's not Gremlins, it's like Goblins too. If that's your favorite bad movie, don't put it in the comments. I don't want to hear about it.
If your favorite bad movie isn't Teen Witch, we don't care.
Cool. Thanks for listening.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next time.
Woo!
Bye.
Bye.